something's wrong. This place. It doesn't feel right. Some of it I know. Some of it I don't.
Kathrine stalked away from Cosmo and kicked at his faded black fedora hat that was laying on the ground where they had arrived. Cosmo put the moonstone into his pocket and then picked up his hat, placing it on his head. Briefly, he patted his chest and then reached in and took out a pouch. He opened it and glanced within it and frowned. He reached in and took out the jewelry box with the unicorn on top of it. The unicorn was inert. Its once glowing red eyes were no longer glowing. It just looked like a simple carving of a unicorn. There was no sense of magic from it. Kathrine was pacing around the clearing. Were they stuck here? Surely there must be a way back. Are they really in another world? Her keen sense of smell had given her a myriad of different scents, some of them recognizable. There were others that were acrid and unknown, almost like burning kerosene. She glanced at Cosmo, who was staring at the unicorn jewelry box. There was that puzzled look on his face again, which turned to a worried frown.
What is it now?
She called out. I don't know, Cosmo muttered. Then glancing at her, are you able to shift? Kathrine blinked.
What? Why?
Humor me, he replied. It was second nature for her to shift into her cat form. Humor him, he had asked. Why should she? But this was a strange circumstance. She thought of herself in her cat form and felt her body change. It seems slightly different this time. Harder, almost, not painful, but more discomfort than normal. Finally, she felt her 4 paws on the ground, and everything looked bigger to her now. Except, what the hell?
Ow!
She yowled. Her clothing was all around her. Cosmo had watched her shift in the restaurant from a cat to humanoid form. Seeing her shifting back to cat form was basically no different. What was different was that the clothing she wore had fallen to the ground. Her yowling caught him by surprise, and he went to the ginger cat. She was pawing at a necklace that had a pink stone as a pendant. She looked at him as if it was his fault. He had suspected that she had some kind of magical item that would help her belongings stay with her. Obviously, this was the item that no longer worked.
Cat, I was afraid of this. This place has very little magic. At least you were able to shift, but my fear is that if we stay too long, that you will no longer be able to.
He rubbed his temple with his fingers and grimaced. He had another fear, but he did not want to voice it. He already felt a tug in his mind, an emptiness where he knew he had his own magical energy stored. The magic was there, but it was slowly being depleted. Kathrine paced around her clothing, pawing at the items, then sat down and looked at Cosmo. She was not going to shift back while he was watching. She pointedly meowed at him, then glanced down at her clothing, then back at him.
Right. You want to shift back.
He smiled for a moment, then nodded.
Privacy. I get it.
He turned around and motioned with his hand above his shoulder. Go ahead. Kathrine stared bleakly at him, and then gave what sounded like an angry meow. He turned and watched the ginger cat stand and walked towards a more discreet place behind some bushes.
Okay.
He sighed and picked up the clothing and brought them to her. Cosmo then moved off at a modest distance from the bushes. He tried to focus on the problem at hand, but his thoughts drifted despite himself. A rustle behind him, followed by a string of colorful curses, pulled his attention back. He chose to ignore it, keeping his eyes fixed ahead. That's when he noticed it, a faint trail cutting through the clearing. Kathrine soon joined him, adjusting her clothing as she approached. Cosmo took a moment to appraise her. Kathrine bristled, then glared, and, imitating the tone he'd used at the restaurant, said pointedly,
Like what you see?
Yes?
He smiled. Kathrine shook her head in irritation and muttered.
Men.
With a motion of his hand, Cosmo pointed at the end of the clearing.
I think there's a trail over there. We might as well see where it leads. I can't cast anything to help us return.
Hells.
Cosmo shrugged and started walking towards the trail. Kathrine reluctantly trailed behind, her green cat-like eyes boring into his back. As Cosmo stepped onto the trail, he muttered,
If there's no magic here, then whatever brought us isn't done with us. If you want to see where these roads lead, make sure to subscribe. There's more to this story than they were ever meant to uncover.